Welcome to Forever Exiled. I am Justin, aka Tags.
I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to episode 181. Oh, we've done that in a while.
No, it has been a while.
It's been needed. Yeah, here we are, episode 181. It's been needed.
Yes,
it's been required.
It has been.
It has been. Yeah, we were going to have BK on this episode, but didn't work out currently. So we're going to hopefully have her next week after the reveal for 182, which then there will be PoE, more PoE stuff to natter on about. Know what I mean, Butterbean?
Oh, I know what you mean, Butterbean.
Sweet. Big shout out to our patrons. A couple of resubs this week. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody else who supports the podcast through our Patreon and other methods. Patreon gets you access to After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast. It's just more chatter, more sometimes PoE. Actually, often it tends to be more PoE in the.
It is.
After
it's so
Dark.
crazy. The last what, like 3 months? Like it's always unscripted, but the last 3 months
we just get going.
It'll be like a lot more non-PoE, and then we're like, okay, this isn't. We're gonna like.
Sometimes something happens and we just get going,
and then all of a sudden it's like another hour and a half of PoE.
Yep, just random. So anyway, thank you everybody for supporting it. You also get a card and a sticker and a sexy color. So we already know it's a win. But thanks everybody for supporting us. We love your faces.
There's a sexy color in Discord is what Justin was saying. Unless of course you get a sexy facial color by blushing.
Yes,
that's
super sexy.
I changed where my watch. I like having my watch on the inside of my wrist.
Okay. Oh, really? You do that?
So you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I do. But you know what I want to do? Why don't people make this a watch like for people that wear it on the inside of the wrist? I'm going to hold it up. So why do I have to like twist my arm all sideways to read it? Why don't they just make it so that
it rotates? The
12 is perpendicular to the wristband.
Well, but then you'd have to
be so then I'm just holding it up like this.
It's worn that way.
It's not special. You just change where the freaking outside thingy grippy parts
are. You could only
ever
wear it on the inside though. Right.
Well, or you could wear it, power, right? And you go, no, you're right. But anyway, that's what I want.
I bet you could do that with a smartwatch. I bet you could rotate the display on a smartwatch.
Oh, that'd be cool. But then see, even if you have a digital smartwatch, I don't feel like it's really analog. Like if you had an analog digital
What's
watch,
the difference?
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's real.
There's no tick. It doesn't count.
If I'm going digital, I may as well just read the numbers. But anyway, speaking of time, sorry, the reason I brought that up is because my watch kept accidentally banging the desk. I switched it back to be on the front of or like where everyone else wears their watch, because my kids, every time we wrestle, they complain that my watch is hurting their head because it's on the inside of my wrist.
Right.
So I'm trying to switch it out. And then as we started the podcast, it kept like
so
smacking.
Annoying.
So anyway, so it's back on the inside of my wrist. Also annoying me. But speaking of dates, it's 2023, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2023. So 4 years ago, March 26th, PlayStation became a GGG thing. Or GGG became a PlayStation thing.
Cool. They come out later on PlayStation than Xbox, right?
They released it that way, yeah. Now, from what I've heard, when I worked in the video game industry, it was like a little bit before, I think it was the PS3 and Xbox days. It was like when mobile gaming first came out. It was the early 2000s. Anyway, from what I gather, Xbox, to make a game for Xbox is just like making a game for PC. It's very standard PC parts. I remember I think it was PS3 and PS4 when I worked in the industry. It was just very foreign how the system worked, and you had to almost remake the game in a way to have it work for PlayStation. Whatever game you were making, like I'm talking like companies that make games for consoles, right? And so I don't know if the PS5 was like that at all. But anyway, this originally came out on the PS4, not the PS5, and it did come out later than the 360, than the Xbox One. But it has been 4 years, so congrats, Sony people!
Sweet,
happy birthday!
Yep. I wonder what their numbers are like on those two platforms.
I don't think they've ever released it.
I don't even know if they do game. Are they tracked on consoles? I imagine they are.
I assume they are. Yeah.
How was your week, bud?
I had a crazy good week. You remember that coupon I got from Doritos for writing them about how much I loved their ketchup Dorito chips? Well, they didn't listen to me. They didn't continue their ketchup Dorito chips. Their limited time. The the fact that they had one.
Did you go
fan
through
that
all the
wrote
Christmas
in
bags
didn't
already?
matter.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
a long time ago. Oh yeah, those did not last too well, but it was glorious. And thank you again for that, and your mom. But anyway, Doritos or the Lay's company, whatever they are, they make a billion different things. So I finally used the coupon. I was saving it specifically for Doritos ketchup chips.
Was it just money
And they
off, or
never
was it a
came
free
back.
bag, or what was it?
It was like $5 off.
Okay, so half price.
That's right. No, but my daughter had her birthday party this weekend, so used
Nice.
it towards that. If there's anything you're going to sacrifice using it for yourself for, may as well be your kids.
Your kids, yep.
So anyway, I did that, and so then Violet had her birthday party. She had about 4 of her girlfriends over, and they had a great time. I was a little nervous that they weren't going to hang out. Or I'm not sure how she interacts. She's still not socially somebody who attaches herself. Like kind of, I remember like for me socially, I kind of started clicking with friends and having favorite people to hang out with and being honest about my preferences about which games I wanted to play or not. Like I remember that being like grade 5, grade 6. You know what I mean? I barely remember before them. Whereas my daughter, she's in grade 4 now. And so I was kind of nervous, like seeing what she was like. I was interested, but also nervous because I know what she's like at home, seeing how she interacts. And so it was interesting seeing her, like she and her brother are like the best of friends. Sorry, I do have to talk a little bit quiet because they're just around the corner.
Sure.
But then there was like one time one of her friends came over and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about my annoying brother. He's downstairs playing video games, so he doesn't have to annoy us." But she's never ever like, he doesn't annoy her at all. That's not who she is. She loves him to death. But all of a sudden she says that because that girl has a sibling that is annoying to that sibling. So it was just interesting seeing how they interact and the things they say and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, it was, and I know that's not uncommon for most parents, but this is the first birthday party she's been able to have since before COVID. And
Right.
So I think maybe the last birthday party that we've had for her with people was grade 1, right? Because she missed having people around for grade 2, grade 3, or maybe even grade 1. I forget when COVID started because she was right at the beginning of COVID. Anyway, whether it was 3 years or 2 years that she missed out, the last year she had a birthday, we were fine with COVID, but our house had been flooded still and we couldn't host anybody. So somebody hosted for us, but it was just like family and stuff, which is great for my daughter. But this was the first time she's ever been able to have friends over and that we got to witness her outside of controlled situations as to what she's like. So I know that's not interesting to anybody else.
It's fun for her.
That was really interesting. It was very fun for her. She had a wonderful time. And we corrected her on just saying things to impress her friends and that kind of thing. And she's the kind of girl with that click. She doesn't realize she's making those kind of offenseful comments, I guess you could say. So it was really interesting for me. It was a lot of fun for her. And we're going to have family over this weekend just as an excuse to get together. No like birthday cake or anything. Just, hey, Violet had her birthday last week. Come on over and say hi.
Cool.
So it'll be nice to see everybody. And then, of course, with our weather, we did have a freezing night, which drove me nuts. But I did plant my grass seed.
Oh, you did?
Which was nice.
Nice.
But because I was, even though like it's getting down to like 3 or 4 degrees at night still sometimes. So there's a chance that it could accidentally, drop below that. We did have to scrape the windows one morning. It frosted overnight one night. And I'm like, crap. So anyway, just anticipating that, hoping it doesn't, but anticipating that, I put some of my cheap older seed on the front lawn this time around. So anyway, I still hope it germinates. I still hope it takes, but yeah.
I know we've got wet weather coming up, but I don't think it's super cold, so you should be pretty good.
Yeah, no, and we've had plenty of, I barely had to have the sprinkler on this week because it rained at least once a day or night. So no, it's good. Getting the grass seed back, and I should have planted some in the backyard too.
You didn't do any?
I wasn't even thinking. No, I only did the front yard because I don't want to have to, like, it's a full-time job with the amount of grass that we have to like, okay, turn the sprinkler on for 10 minutes. And then I go to the next section and then I have to do it about 5 different times. Mm-hmm. So that's an hour in total if I'm on time to the timer on my watch, or my phone. So I'm like, I should have just so I only seed the section that the sprinkler can get. And then I'm not going to bother with putting seed out until I'm, in 2 weeks or once everything germinates and starts growing and it's a couple inches long. Then I'll go and seed another spot and then put the sprinkler there. And, but I should have done the backyard too.
Yeah.
I've done one spot in the front and one spot in the back. And then even though I'm not moving the sprinkler, I turn, because originally I was thinking, don't do that, because then when you turn both sprinklers on at the same time, you're not going to have the same water pressure. But if I did the front yard first and then just turn that off and then did the backyard, then I'd be saving myself about a month's worth of lawn dimers.
It's just more time you get to spend now with your lawn.
That's right. I'm just going to roll around on the wet lawn. That'll be great. Anyway, no, I had a really good week. Thanks for letting me bore you with it, but it was really cool seeing Violet finally have a birthday party.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
That was pretty sweet. Yeah. How about you? How was your week?
My week was good. My sister was in town for the weekend, so we saw her and her kids for a little bit, and then we took off on Sunday to the island, went to Victoria, it was a lot of fun. It was tiring. It was like go, go, go. Anytime you thought that things were going to chill out, then my kids are like, let's go to the pool. So, and we went with another couple and their kids as well. So it was basically just, it was just nonstop going to different things, but it was fun. We went to the museum down there and went to a big castle. It's called Hatley Castle. My kids were freaking out because some show called The Descendants from Disney was filmed there. So they knew all the different parts of this castle. And then,
I've never even heard of that show.
Yeah, it's I think there's 3 of them, 3 Descendants. It's like the kids of Disney characters. It's the story.
Is it
of
Disney Plus only?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It's done by Disney. It's like Ariel's daughter and like some of the evil characters' kids, and there's like it's their story of them going to school or something. I don't know exactly, but my kids knew all the different parts of this castle. And then Gwen did this thing called the Malahat Skywalk, which is 10 stories high. Not cool. I didn't know. I hate heights. And they were talking about stuff, like we were out at dinner talking and they were like, yeah, let's do this. We really blah, blah, blah. And I was having a few drinks and wasn't really paying too much attention. And then that night they were figuring out the tickets. And so I got a message for the tickets and I pull it up on my phone and I'm like, what the hell is this? I saw a picture of this thing. It's massive. It's this huge spiral. You just walk up this spiral forever, it feels like. And then you get to the top and
is it like a suspension bridge?
No, because it's just a big circle. There is a bunch of like high bridges that you walk across to get to it. But if you just Google Malahat Skywalk, you'll see a picture of what I'm talking about. And it's this massive tower that you just walk up, and then there's a slide that you can ride down, which I was like, heck no.
That is interesting. It's just a big
circle. It's just this massive circle with
it's a cylinder that you walk up.
Yeah,
I would be exhausted.
It's not terrible for the walk up because it's actually not steep. Like it's a pretty good, like a reasonable incline for walking up. You just walk up quite a few times. Like you get a little bit dizzy going up the circles, but
that's not wheelchair friendly at all. A 1 billion story ramp.
Yeah, but by about halfway to 3/4 of the way up, I was walking and I said to Christine, I'm like, I'm not looking at our kids. I'm not talking to anybody. Don't anyone look at me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Just I'm staring at each beam in front of me to try and not freak out. So, and then at the top, there's like a big mesh net that you can stand on that looks straight down the cylinder that you just climbed up. And I was like, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. I had 2 of my kids were scared to go on it. So I had to go on it just to like, make them not feel afraid. But I'll show you a picture later that Christina took of me on the net. It's the most embarrassing picture of me like standing super proud and smiling for the picture. And no joke, I'm about 6 inches on the net. Like I've like barely stepped onto the net. So,
and here I'm seeing this is just online, of course. I'm seeing a little girl jumping up and doing the splits in the air right in the middle of the net.
Yeah, it was my kids loved it. Like, so it's funny, hey, because you can take the slide down. The slide takes 8 seconds to ride down. And I was like, no, I'm not doing a slide. Like, I'll just walk down. I'll meet you guys at the bottom. They all stood in the lineup. So I walked down to the bottom and our kids slid down and then probably ran back up the whole thing about 6 or 7 times just to do the slide over and over again. And I just chilled at the bottom. So it was, it was a lot of fun, but it was not my cup of tea. And I did not know what I was getting myself into ahead of time, but it was fun. The weather was nice. I love Victoria. Victoria is one of my favorite places to go to. So Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had the kids had a good time. Some of them our friends, they hadn't been on the ferries for years. Their kids had never been on the ferries except when they were like 3 months old, so they had a lot of fun out there, and yeah, it was good. It's a good time.
Cool.
And then otherwise,
I'm excited to take my kids to the wax museum.
I don't even know where it is anymore in Victoria. They do still have it. But
it's really, you can just go to the waterfront and you can walk to it. It's really close.
It's not there anymore. It used to be right at the harbor. Okay. Yeah, there's a Starbucks there now. They do
still the wax museum. Yeah. That's a big Starbucks.
They do still have it somewhere. I'm just not entirely sure where it is. But
because there was a horror part that I'm excited to show the kids. It's all like nasty and gross and
yeah, there is still one somewhere in Victoria, and it still is downtown. I'm just not sure where it is, but we did the normal museum, which was fine, except that you don't they don't have the top floor open because they've been redoing it for the last year and a half, I guess. So but it was fun. The kids all had a good time. We had a good time. It was at least nice to get away for a little bit, but yeah. So got back on Wednesday, got right back into work Wednesday afternoon.
Of course.
And then
playing catch up because nobody else does your job for you. So it
was a lot of catch up.
Just 10 times as much to do when you get back.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you were able to turn your brain off.
It did for a little bit. For the first couple days, it was pretty good. So yeah, it was fun. Anyway, that was my week. What do we got this week in PoE?
First up were the March event Twitch highlights. And so because, quite a few different events are going on now. I believe this was posted just before they started the Crangled tree, which started this week.
Oh, yeah.
But the Friendly Fire was on, and that dominated the highlight reels for the most part. And a lot of them were, this is funny, but people discovering that Einhar is also included in Friendly Fire. And so everybody's like, don't click on Einhar.
Yeah.
Don't
start
do
a new
crafting.
Get rid of him. I did see that. Funny.
Yeah. But it's like a lot of the ones that I saw were hardcore. So they're just done. I mean, luckily that's Act 2 when you're first introduced to them. And
those people don't care. They're like, no problem. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, right. Not us. So, or not me. So anyway, that was fun
like, that's
to
it.
see.
Screw it. I'm out.
Exactly.
I'll see you next league.
Takes so long to get there that by the time I die in Act 2, I'm like, no, you know what? That was a good run. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I did see some of the clips. They were fun.
Yeah, they were. Let's see. Mystery Box concept art, skill effects sale. Only the Xbox got a patch this week, or consoles got a patch this week, but it was just a Japanese localization patch. Nothing on PC, so maybe it's already there. And 2 announcements. What do we have? Sanctum support packs and Kyric's Vault Pass ending soon. Did you do Kyric's Vault Pass? No?
Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. This one, I just didn't.
Is it based on what the items are used, like which items they choose, or is it based on the MTX?
I guess it's both. It's probably a combination of both. Sometimes I look at it and go like, oh, that's a cool, I use that unique. And I guess sometimes it's maybe just how it looks or works. But I think also this time with Kyric's Vault, there was so much that I liked even in their other packs that I was like, I don't like it enough to spend the money. Whereas I do like some of the supporter packs that came out. So I think that was more where I lean towards. But Kyric's Vault Pass for me is either it's going to catch me right away and I'm going to go, oh, that's really cool. It's not something that I'm going to go back. I wouldn't even be able to tell you what's in it anymore. So
yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's funny because for the longest time, I didn't know that you got to keep those. I thought even the MTX rewards were like just for the event.
Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah. Well, because I remember now the battle passes, vault passes, those are not new to gaming in general. But if you're a PoE only player, they are new to me. And so there was nothing in the announcement that said these are MTX that you keep, because it kept saying like the battle pass is temporary. And so I assumed that the rewards were temporary as well. I just assumed everything to do with that battle pass or vault pass was temporary. So, yeah. But anyway, that was the first time it came out. This only the second league with it, right?
It's this. I don't know, second or third vault pass. I think
it is pretty new. It is pretty new. I do like it though. It's like a challenge oriented reward system. I mean, outside of the fact that you have to pay for it, but it is pretty neat. I like that it is directly for someone like yourself tied to, if I like it, I'll go for it. If not, but you can still, like, I don't know. It's kind of neat to have what was it? Was that the one that had the Roa, or was that a support pack? The Roa Quicksilver?
Yes. Or was that the one before? Man, I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
I have to click on it to find out. Oh, they don't have they only have the YouTube video link. Oh no. Kyric's Vault Pass. No, that would have been a support pack then.
Was it?
Yeah. And what else? And then the Krangle passive started this week. So
right.
A lot of comments on that. I'm seeing Reddit. I mean, I'm not reading any because I don't care about the Krangle passive thing. So I don't care about people's suggestions to it or opinions towards it. But I'm seeing a lot of comments on it on Reddit for sure. A lot of posts about it.
Did I see talk in our Discord that people were playing a private league with the Krangled one? That's pretty cool if they were.
You know what?
I thought I saw something about it.
I didn't get to check Discord yesterday, so I'm a day behind. So I haven't checked. But if you are, people,
yeah, good luck. Hopefully it's fun. I saw it somewhere, but the event is fun and more people should join the private league we have. Yeah, Riot Blob put that in Discord. So
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's already a full passive tree online somewhere. What the new Krangle
is it the same for everybody, or is there? Or
seems
is it
like
changed?
Seems like it is.
Oh, interesting.
Judging by some of the titles, again, I haven't read any of the Reddit stuff, but judging by some of the titles, it does seem like everybody shares the same Krangle tree.
Like across all of the server? Oh, really? That's kind of too bad, but I guess they kind of have to do that. I was hoping it was like different each, because it's you're playing them in private leagues. So I was kind of hoping that each private league it completely jumbled it, but I guess there's some limitations on how randomized
it's a short event too, right? It's not very long. 10 days, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Did you play this week?
Yeah, I did. I was hoping to play a lot more, but I didn't get an opportunity to, but I definitely played lots, as much as I could anyway. And did you play?
Not.
Oh no, you were gone.
I was gone. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Testing your braveness.
For a short period of time.
Your heights, yes.
Not a fan.
All right. Nah. I'm excited to see that very brave picture of you, though.
I'm going to send it because it's the most ridiculous looking picture ever.
Can you tell from the picture you're 6 inches off?
Yep. And you can also tell that not only am I trying to look like I'm proud of myself, but also my kids are watching me. So I want to make sure that they see that I'm fine. But in my head, I know what's happening right now, which is like, what are you doing? Get off here. You're going to die. You are going to fall down and die. So,
yeah. And did any of the crap get on your shoe that was running down your leg?
No, but I'm glad I wore, because I take 2 pairs of shoes. Go ahead, Tyler, with his D&D. I did take 2 pairs of shoes, and I was sure to take the pair of shoes, thankfully, that could get a little bit dirty on that walk, because had I taken the other pair, I would have been quite upset. Because it wasn't the nicest weather, and so the walk was a little bit dirty in some parts. But yeah, I don't know what we were talking about, but that's it. It was fine.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's good. So I was theory crafting like crazy. I don't remember what I mentioned last week or not, but oh yeah, I think I mentioned. So last week I was talking about the Wicked Ward, Eternal Youth, and then the Armor ES Mastery.
Right.
That says 20% of your increases or decreases to armor is applied to your energy.
Right. We talked about that quite a bit into After Dark too, I remember.
Yeah, and then Eternal Youth changes your energy shield recharge rate and turns it into life recharge rate. Lowers your life regen, but gives you life recharge rate. And then of course Wicked Ward would make that non-interruptible, that recharge rate. So anyway, we were talking about that, and I was incorrect about it not being available in Path of Building. So I must have been doing something wrong before that. But in between the regular show and After Dark, I had all that fixed, and we were talking about specific numbers, and that dominated the majority of our After Dark of our PoE After Dark conversations. But that got me thinking, like, okay, well, different types of small investment opportunities for recovery. I'm like, maybe I could make zombies work again, but no, maybe not. And then, okay, what about skeletons instead of Reaper? Because right now I'm the Elementalist with the Reaper, because it's the golems auto
come up,
resurrect, and I never have to worry about it. It's purely one button build, just the Reaper, and it's fantastic. But I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe if I add skeletons to the Reaper, what would I use instead of phantasms? Because I'm starting to kind of fall off of phantasms when you don't have investment into survivability. They barely last. Like if you take them if you've invested into essence, you click on an essence, your phantasms with no investment into survivability. They're just, or apathetic investment into survivability. They don't last. You're basically
what if you do that thing that keeps them alive for 4 seconds? I can't remember what that is. If it's a jewel or if it's a...
It is. It's a cluster jewel.
Right.
Notable.
Right.
So I normally don't have space for cluster jewel stuff, and I don't find them worth the extra investment. You know what I mean? There's for minions, there's no notables. It did make a big difference
when I did skeleton mages. It made a huge difference. Yeah.
Hands down with the short-term ones like that. But see, phantasms aren't important. Like, it's, to me, it's not worth doing all that just so the phantasms can survive, because phantasms and the Reaper have such different skill tags of what like their actual attack skills are, their offensive skills are, that I'm already so limited in the, like, I would have to use something like brutality. I have to use stuff that's not specific to spells or to melee or to attacks. Has to be generic. And one of those, of course, is minion damage, but that decreases their life already by 25%, or lessens their life, because that's it. We actually have to be that specific. So anyway, I was looking around and I'm thinking, okay, skeletons, what could I use for that? Skeletons are actually not that bad, even though they die relatively quick without much investment, because feeding frenzy lets them dash. And so that was, you know, so I'm playing around. Just that whole Eternal Youth, Armor, ES Mastery, I just started opening up a new can of worms for theory crafting. And like, so what are my different ascendancy options for the Reaper? Skeletons and Reaper, maybe. Popcorn skeletons also, and just getting rid of the Reaper altogether and just going with popcorn skeletons or popcorn SRS. But I don't really like popcorn SRS because everybody does popcorn SRS, and it is a lot more standing still. Anyway, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can get back into slow-mo. So then I started thinking about all the different curse efficiency nodes again. Can I really get this to work? And I'm like, going back. And so it's a good thing. I have tons of notes from the old theory crafting stuff that I used to do. And yeah, that gets outdated with possibly every patch. But then I remember, oh, right, okay, this can't work. My daughter knocked on the door. She needed me to sign into Xbox so she could play Hogwarts Legacy upstairs. And you spilled something while I was gone?
I went to stand up to grab something, and my stupid cable from my stupid headphones knocked over my stupid water. Anyway, continue.
Did you were able to get everything?
I got a roll of paper towel. I'm working on it, but I'm listening. Go for it.
No, you do your thing. Do your thing. It's stressful.
I'm good. Go for it.
I'm normally the king of spilling stuff on, like, how many keyboards have you given me?
Do you want to know? I can't even tell you how many times I have done this at this desk because of this stupid cable. And like an idiot, I don't know why I just don't cap off my stupid water. But my water is obviously always mixed with stuff too. So now it's like pink shit everywhere. Go ahead.
I remember when I used to watch Pixels on Twitch, he always had his drink uncovered on top of his desk. It scared the crap out of me. Like always, like on the mouth side. You never, ever have like your drink on your mouse side. You always put it on the other side. I mean, I'm right-handed, so my mouse is on the right side. And I know I want to drink with my right hand. No. Put it on the left. That's fine. My whole desk, because of how often I've used to spill, and I'm just terrified of spilling, my whole desk revolves around where my cords are that reach me. So my headset isn't wireless, right? That's plugged in, of course. And then what else do we have? And then where the mouse goes, just so that it doesn't pull on anything else. And the whole desk revolves around where the Focusrite is that the headset's plugged into. How you doing?
I'm good. Go ahead.
No, you're not.
I am. I'm listening. You were talking about minions. Go for it.
No, yeah, kind of, yes. So anyway, point is that I went like all theory. Oh no, wait, where did I end off? Oh yeah. So I have all these notes about like why certain ideas did or didn't work. And so one of my favorite wishful setups is that having enfeeble, temporal chains, and then an offensive curse, all with blasphemy, are enough defense. Like I always wish that if I heavily invest into curse efficiency, that's enough, because that's a ton of investment. If you put that same investment into armor, you are totally fine for physical damage mitigation. Along as well, I mean, if then you're either throwing on determination or you have a lot of armor on your gear, whichever. But that amount of tree investment is worth the mitigation return that you're getting. Whereas with curses, it's not.
It doesn't work though. Yeah.
No. Offensively, yes. Like if you were doing all three of those curses to do like punishment and I don't know, let's say it doesn't really work with physical damage because you can only do the two. But if you were to do, let's say you're doing cold damage, you could do elemental weakness, frostbite, and punishment. And that curse efficiency is well worth the investment, even when it's tied to the 25% less reduction of blasphemy. But anyway, so anyway, my theory crafting's going crazy, and I ended up, I completely rebuilt my zombie build, thinking, oh well, you know what, I want to try. Let's barely invest into minion survivability. Let's take almost a very similar tree from my Reaper. Let's put my zombies into that. So I actually respec'd my zombie build into something that was similar to the tree that I have for the Reaper, which is apathetic survivability. All the survivability nodes I have there, except for one notable, it's just incidental. And so I'm like, let's see how the zombies survive. You know, maybe if they're just doing tons and tons of damage and they're leeching, and then maybe some of the other auras I'm giving them all cleaned up.
Yes.
Anything wrecked?
Who knows? Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, so then I'm trying that and I'm going with zombies and I'm like, oh wow, they're survived. Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. There's like, there's just some combinations of stuff that just completely mutilate them. So basically this huge theory crafting and testing week that I had reinforced the reasons that I like the Reaper, writing down on the notes. It's easy to resummon. I never have to worry about minion quantity, like making sure I'm capped with skeletons, making sure I'm capped with SRS, making sure I'm capped with zombies. I don't need a corpse to resurrect it. And it's going to be a button I'm hitting anyway. And it has a really big AoE. You know, it's not single strikes. It's big AoEs, so it's clear isn't bad. It doesn't take forever. So it just it was everything I wanted. So I'm going to have to write all that down, make sure that I remind myself why I'm moving away from zombies. But I actually played enough, Justin. Either that or I'm starting to fade a bit. But my left thumb.
Uh-oh.
My analog stick thumb, my moving thumb, Justin.
Yeah.
It's been in so much pain all week. It hurts. It hurts. Maybe my limit is like 4 hours a week of gameplay and I went over that, but man, it has been so sore. So sore.
That sucks.
See, well, it is because you know what happens if my joints I've always had issues with my fingers and my wrists, but if it gets worse, I have to use the mouse and keyboard.
I'm not sure that
because but that's pure one hand. Like I can actually one hand with one button, Path of Exile with the mouse. All flask can be now automated, all that kind of stuff. I can figure out the builds so that I don't use a life flask, whatever it is. Great. Awesome. Or can you I can put the life flask on right click, right?
No. Well, maybe you could. I bet you could. Yeah, I would think you could.
Maybe. Or maybe one of the mouse buttons on the side. Anyway, but I was thinking like, oh no, I've been such a console snob, like Justin's a PC snob. And then all of a sudden my thumb's going to get to the point where I'm like, I pictured myself walking around without my left thumb.
Is it that bad?
Right? It's so sore.
Wow.
Like I'm picturing like, man, you know what? If they had to amputate, at least the pain would be gone. But then I could who plays controller with their index finger?
Maybe you just need a break.
Justin, new league's starting.
That's what I mean.
Soon.
You got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
You know what else I discovered this week?
Tell me.
There's an enemy mod that says spell resistant. Right? It got me thinking. I'm like, that's cheating.
Yeah, that's not fair.
But then I was thinking there's also but then I started thinking for physical damage, there's just a pure physical damage reduction one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's still different than attack resistant. Now, I've never seen attack resistant. Maybe it exists, but I saw spell resistant and I'm like, I can't do that. I want that spell resistant. Give me that, man. Oh, that would be fantastic. Let me focus just on attack mitigation and then give me just some pure spell resistance. That'd be awesome.
Is spell resistance the same as just all elemental resistance? Or
no, because there's physical spells.
That's true.
So now imagine if an enemy had physical damage reduction and spell resistance, and you were doing something like Exsanguinate. Now, Exsanguinate's a strong skill, but imagine if you were doing a pure physical spell. Blade Vortex.
Well, NPCs are cheaters. What are you going to do?
Anyway, spell resistance is an enemy mod. What? And also, while I was doing a lot of my theory crafting, so Bastion of Elements, you remember what that is, right? It does lots, but the only thing I really... let me bring it up so I can actually read it.
Is it the one that gives you like a shield or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
Nah, but I'm going to read it.
All right.
So Bastion of Elements... the main reason that I take it is you get Primal Aegis. Triggers level 20 Primal Aegis when allocated. Primal Aegis can take 75 elemental damage per allocated notable passive skill. So for every notable on your passive tree, you get 75 elemental.
Yes, right.
Damage resistance per se, or like it's like flat damage mitigation. So in total, I have just over 2,000, like 2,025, 2,075, whatever it is, right? Now, the rest of the skill is stuff that I ignore because it doesn't apply to me, but other Aegis skills are disabled and you also can't take reflected damage. So I have, what does it say in my notes here? 2025 elemental ES, I think it is. 2025, 2075, whatever. I'm just going to say 2000. And basically it's like elemental energy shield. That's how I've been referring to it. And maybe that was just me. Maybe I knew this information before, but then when I kept thinking that it's just elemental ES, it's better than the basic ES mechanic, because once you've used up the Aegis, right? So once I've used up that 2,000 elemental damage, it's just basically flat too. But once I've used up that 2,000, it has a 5-second cooldown,
and then it's just fully back.
And then it's fully back, and it's irrelevant of me taking damage.
Yep.
So that barrier shows up. I can keep taking damage, and all of a sudden, boop, that 2,000's back up. So it's so much better. And I didn't realize that. I thought that if I kept taking damage, like, so let's say
like recharge or something.
Right. Yeah. So I kept thinking that 5-second timer would just re-click. And it's the same if I start counting, like if it drops down to only 1,000 elemental mitigation left, or whatever the proper term is. But if it goes down to 1,000
shield.
Sure. Whatever.
It kind of is just a shield. It's just an elemental shield.
Like Eben said, Path of Exile is not meant to be spoken out loud. Once you get down to 1,000, if I count to 5, if I keep taking damage, boop. So yeah, really cool. I thought that was awesome. That 5-second cooldown is like Wicked Ward. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. So that was really neat. No, I know Wicked Ward isn't. It's about if you don't get to the pot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I'm still humming and hawing over adding Eternal Youth and the ES Mastery, Armor Energy Shield Mastery.
Is this just this is all still theory crafting? This isn't an actual build that you're testing it with, right? Like, are you actually playing with this build currently? Like the stuff that you're talking about with Primal Aegis and all that kind of stuff? Are you actually using it?
So the Reaper is using the Elementalist. And that's primarily for the golems and then the golem bonuses. And that's actually really strong, right? Those 4 nodes give me complete apathy to my Reaper secondary minions. I never have to think about them. They're always up. I'm always getting the buffs, but it gives me 14 physical damage mitigation flat and about 500 life regen. But coupled with all that apathy, that has a lot of quality of life to it. So I do really like that golem bit. That enter the elemental Aegis, the Bastion of Elements. That one to me is strong, but I already have 80 and 79% elemental resists. So that Bastion of Elements on top of that, the reason that I keep thinking of going away from that is from the Elementalist is because I'm like, to me, that's overkill. Like that Bastion of Elements on top of that. Sure, that's great defense, but maybe there's other defenses, like maybe there's something else that I could do to make my physical damage mitigation a little bit more over the top instead, right? Because I already have, in my opinion, plenty of elemental damage mitigation. So anyway, that's what I'm using, but I'm humming and hawing still over Eternal Youth and then that Armor ES Mastery. Still haven't applied that. It's only 2 nodes. It's right there, but I haven't figured it out. So that was my week. It was awesome. Yeah, it actually included a lot of theory crafting, of course, but I can do that theory crafting while I'm cooking. You know, I'll bring my Chromebook up onto the kitchen island and I'll type away while I'm making stuff. Oh, steaks tonight. Oh, I've been marinating it for a bit. Oh, I'm excited. So now I get to bring my laptop outside. Hopefully it's nice weather outside tonight because I'll be barbecuing. I'm scared of the barbecue, man. Are you scared of your barbecue?
No, I love my barbecue. What are you scared of?
That it's going to explode. I don't like it.
Why would it
I don't like
explode?
it. I don't know. It's just that I'm always so weirded out lighting gas. And then I never trust this stuff. Like companies make things like such garbage now. And we have we bought a top of the line one. I mean,
didn't you get a Weber or a Napoleon or something?
We got a Weber. It was
They're
one of
fine.
the cheaper Webers. It was like $350, but way too much money for me. And not for my wife. She thinks it's fantastic, but it's just, and I can't it's so dirty. I clean it out every single time, but there's just its design underneath the grill.
Mm-hmm.
It just accumulates.
Yeah, but
It's
you just
so
pull the
bad.
pieces off, scrape it down, and you're good.
Every single time.
I love my Weber.
You have to babysit it. It's ridiculous.
No,
Remember
you
when
don't.
Josh was doing Defendo way back in the day, way back before he actually could kick the crap out of us? He was taking
Hold
Defendo
left.
and he was all tough. So he was like, okay, he'd hold out his arm. He's like, check out this new move I learned, right?
Yeah.
And he'd hold out his arm, or he'd say, hey Ty, hold out your arm. And so I'd hold it out. And he's like, no, a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
No.
not-
Okay. Now bend your elbow just
It
a little
is
bit.
not
No.
the
Okay. You're
same.
doing it a little bit. No. Move it up. It was like, it had to be perfect for his new Defendo move to work. That's what barbecues are. They require so much
I don't even have to
babysitting.
think about it with my Weber. I love it. I turn it on, run it for about 15, 20 minutes at 500, scrape it off, and I'm cooking. I'm good.
And then after?
Every two, I don't do anything after. In fact, I just leave it. It's actually recommended for the Weber, at least that we have. And then every 2 to 3 times, when it's finished, I'll pull the grates off, scrape off the little angle pieces, pull them off, and just scrape the bottom. It takes me maybe 10 minutes, and I'm done.
Oh, ours is not like that. That bottom part, when you take the grills off, it is so bad. It is so bad. And that stuff, it's constantly lighting up, but you have to do it every single time. And it does not take 20 minutes. With the shapes and where the gas pipes are, it is such a pain. It is the worst barbecue in the world.
No, I think you're a baby. It's funny. We have
It's not. Aaron agrees with you, except the amount of time she cleans it is just as often as I clean it because it's that awkward. So by action, she agrees with me. In words, she agrees with you.
Bet you she agrees with me entirely. We have my son's engagement party happening, I think, this weekend, and we got him a barbecue. We got them a gift of a barbecue, but we had to get one that could be like in a condo, so it has to be a little bit smaller. So yeah, we got him it's a Napoleon travel queue something. It's actually pretty nice. It's actually really nice, but it can actually fold up, and you can attach a propane tank, or you can attach those little green propane tanks.
You can take it camping.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Nice. Good for you.
So,
we had one of those. It was also a Weber, but it was one of the old school ones that we had back in Aaron's old apartment, and then we had it in our apartment.
Did it have a stand and everything, or did it just
it came with a stand.
Okay, yeah, nice.
And it still felt like 1,000 pounds. You'd pick up the one end so you could wheel it around, and I felt like my neck was going to explode. But no, you could take it, and it was the greatest. It was so easy to clean. It was fantastic. It never had extra stuff
So
burning at no, it was so great. It was so great. And so then nothing was wrong with it. It was just old, and we wanted a bigger one. So we get rid of that one, get this new one, and I hate it. Should have kept the old school portable one.
It's got to be user error. It's got to be.
So I was thinking,
I
think we've discussed this, but I don't remember what your question is. So it's not user error. If I want determination and grace to be different.
What do you mean?
Well, they're primary defensive. They're the primary defensive.
What's wrong with that? Sure.
They're 50%. But to me, they give too much. For me, for example, I have 190, 200% armor on the tree. Big investment, right? Big focus, big investment. But I throw determination on, and I don't really need to care at all about armor rolls on my gear. Now, I like that. I don't think it's right, though, but I like it. So as a primary mitigation, I can completely get rid of it. Actually, that's not true. I like it. It's using 50% of my mana. It's using a huge portion of investment on my tree, and I don't really need to worry about physical damage mitigation. I kind of like that. But there's other parts of me where I'm like, should that be all? Like, maybe it needs some gear investment. You know what I mean? Maybe that should kind of be, I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that thinks that grace and determination should be the same, but have lesser values. So they give you less, but they're set to 35% instead of 50.
Well, I think you actually get a huge benefit from having armor on your gear. I'm just specifically talking about determination because the percentage multiplier on, you know, if you get a really high armor chest piece, helmet, maybe a shield, whatever, that is then multiplied by determination. I think if anything for determination, I like that it's a 50% cost. I like that it's got flat and percentage. I think maybe you could slightly reduce the flat armor that's provided by it, but otherwise I think I'm fine with it. I think it works great. I think the thing is, I think because there's such a big boost, because it's also giving you flat as well as the percentage of increased armor, that it's really strong. I am actually fine with them exactly how they are, but I think if anything, reducing the flat armor from determination while continuing to still have the percentage increase would be fair. I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't want to see a change to the percentage though.
You like them more?
Well, because then the thing is that percentage makes me find flat armor in other places. And then you are going to be more reliant on the flat armor on your gear, because it doesn't matter what percentage you have. If you have low armor, it's not doing anything, right? So I think if anything, you could maybe slightly reduce the flat armor provided by determination, but I wouldn't want to see them change very much. They're already expensive. You're talking 50%. Even with you going through all the steps, you're getting it down to what, maybe 35, 33%.
Yeah, no, with some heavy investment, you get it down quite a lot. But yeah, and I don't disagree with you. Like having armor on gear with determination is fantastic, but a lot of it is like, it's not required. You know what I mean? I can be completely apathetic with the armor rolls I have on my gear, with, you know, the 190% armor on my tree and determination. I can ignore armor on my gear and I'm dancing. So getting more, of course, and it's huge, it skyrockets, but I'm very comfortable in very harsh content with physical damage mitigation.
I think because of the way armor works in general in Path of Exile, it's a little weird for that, because it does, there isn't a huge benefit to just heavily stacking your armor.
What would you think about having maybe a second determination then? Like a 35% option that's just all lesser values? Like a proportionate value lowered to what determination would be at 35%.
Why though? What would be the reason?
To provide the grace or determinate. I mean, we're specifically saying determination, but every time I'm also referring to the equivalent of it being grace as well. But just having that option to have that smaller amount of help instead of a massive amount of help, and it gives you the option to do other aura combinations or mana reservation options. So let's say you wanted the armor help, but you didn't need as much as determination gave. There was no reason for you to go that extra mile for that 50%. What would you think if they added like a mini version, I guess you could say?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would do to people who are trying. If you were doing something to try and stack the armor, now all of a sudden you'd have two multipliers.
That's kind of fun though. Like, it's still, you're choosing two defensive auras over one. Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't mind where determination and grace are currently. I think that they're maybe a bit strong, but I don't think they're strong because of the skill. I think they're strong because of what they make up for that you can't get in other places. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
it does. It does.
I don't like the idea of nerfing an aura. I'm not sure. I don't know how to put it into words, but I like where they're at, but I wouldn't want to see them nerfed just because they're popular. I would rather see them come up with alternatives to it. Because there aren't a whole lot of alternatives to using determination or grace. I'm only speaking specifically actually where it's determination, because I don't use grace very often, but there aren't many alternatives to it. And it would be fun to see in the game alternative ways to do similar things. But there are going to be some cases, I guess, where some auras and some skills are just outliers. They're on their own, and unfortunately, right now, they're necessities for a lot of builds, or not necessities, but they definitely make a substantial difference to the feel of the build.
Yeah, I do like. I also, like I said at the beginning, I really like where they're at. Definitely. Just I keep thinking about what it would be like if there was that. Like, I swear I turned that off. Sorry, man.
It's fine. Tyler and his phone.
But I don't know. Like, I think they're definitely worth the value of that 50% reservation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's my cat meowing.
It won't be heard.
Okay. And like, I think they're worth the 50% value for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like, let's say I'm on the right side of the tree, I'm on the east side, and I want determination on. As long as I can get that 155 strength without any armor investment, I'm not like, it's a lot for the 50%, but I think it's fair. You're getting like 50-ish physical damage mitigation, like 50%. Now, granted, that's an irrelevant number with how armor works, but that's just what they show you. So, but you're getting 50, and I mean, that's better than 0. Mm-hmm. Right now, if you wanted to, I know that's not maybe the smartest way, but I'm just saying, if you don't invest into armor at all, it's giving you some, and it's expensive, but it's probably better that you do something else. And I like that. I like that balance. But then if you're heavily investing into it, you're still choosing determination over, something offensive. But I keep thinking that 35%, I wonder what grace and determination would look like as smaller values. It'd be cool to have, like 4 35%ers and be able to have a smaller version of determination or grace included. But
I think you'd be in the same boat of feeling like they were too strong.
Yeah.
Because at 35%, you're going to be dumping those easily down into the 20s. For how much it's actually taking up, you're going to have to reduce the requirement. So if 155 strength is what's required for a level 20 determination, that's going to have to be reduced, which is going to make it more accessible to more builds too. So yeah, I don't know. Is your cat all right?
My cat's looking at me like the house is burning down, but that just means it wants in the office.
So it can jump all over everything.
Yeah, that's right. Can you hear the scratching on the door? Should I open the door?
Yeah, just open it. It's fine.
Oh, you.
Did it walk away after you opened the door?
It walked away, and now it's coming back. Now,
stupid cats.
Girl.
In or out?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Did it come in?
We do that too. No, it didn't. And now it's staring at me again like I'm an idiot. But we do that. We have a timer for the pets. Like if the cat wants outside, when we used to have 2 cats, I would just open the door and I'd count to 5. They'd always wait to 5 and then they'd sprint outside. Or they'd wait to 5 and it was only at 5 they would turn around and walk the other way.
That's awesome.
But okay. Well, what about discipline then? What about discipline? Have you seen how I can hear your pets, the crows on your side of the have you seen lots of discipline?
No.
Every time I look at discipline, I'm like, wow, that's really weak. That's really weak. But
I would love
maybe
to
it's
see,
not if you're ES strong.
I would love to see more ES related stuff, because I say this a lot, but I would love to play a CI build again. But I just don't like, ever since the way I used to love ES was when you could leech ES with what was it, Val? What was that skill? What's the skill on the tree? They still have it, but it's completely changed. When
I'll bring it up quick.
What is it called? Val something.
Valpact.
Is it Valpact? The one that lets you leech?
Yeah, they made it really far south. Yeah, Valpact. Total recovery from, they've changed it to life leech specifically.
Well, you can change life leech to affect energy shield, but it's the reduction in how it's calculated really affected it. That was a fun way for me playing ES back in the day. I don't really, the regen side of it, I haven't played with it in long enough, so I don't really know. But I don't know enough about discipline. I just haven't played with it in way too long. It's like around 3.0, everything just switched to life, and it just, for myself, was an easier thing to build off of than ES was. ES takes a bit of commitment.
It does. And the thing that's frustrating for me, because I love that prospect as well, that would definitely be much easy, one button, no life last style build for sure. But discipline says, sorry, I didn't even finish that thought. But the thing that it's just harder to gear. You need 2 good prefixes, and in this game, there's so many good prefixes that, like, if you're looking for boots, for example, you're looking for the flat ES, the percentage ES, and movement speed. And it's like, okay, well, now there's absolutely no point unless you care more about the suffix and the prefix for an influenced type of boots. You know, all your 3 prefixes are already used up. And so, yeah, I kind of wish that armor and ES and evasion, there was just the one. Like, maybe there were multiple ways. Like, you know how there's like armor and life. There's an armor and life mod. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff's fine. But I'm talking like just what you need to improve the local gear. I wish it was just one. It'd be so much more fun to mix and match. It would be a lot less, I don't know, like that really nice piece of gear for energy shield, for example, wouldn't seem so far away if you just needed that one good energy shield roll instead of 2 good ones. But anyway, I mean, imagine if you were doing hybrid. I mean, I love the complexity of hybrid because of how much you need. But any hybrid build, all 3 of your prefixes are used up. You need a really, really strong reason to replace one of those 3 prefixes. But discipline is, so I like life. Life is one. Just give me life. That's it. So that's why I'm all life. But you and nearby allies gain 30% increased energy shield recharge rate. And you and nearby allies gain 217 additional energy shield. I know with investment, 217's big. It just seems like so puny.
It seems small. Yeah.
Right. But then when I see that, I'm like, that's 35%. What would determination and grace look like this?
What was the second? What was the first part of discipline? It's the recharge rate.
Sorry. So the first one's 217 additional flat ES, and then 30% increased energy shield recharge rate.
I want to see discipline like decrease to the time before it does as well.
Yes.
Like, there just needs to be something a little bit more to it.
I agree. Now, I'm curious how many people actually have it. I haven't looked it up, but it doesn't seem strong. I wish it was stronger. Maybe they'd make it 50%, right? Like,
you have to make it really
I don't know.
good to put it to 50%.
Well, that's the thing, though, and that's kind of like, I think it's the discipline. Then, like, all of a sudden, the evasion one is 50, and the armor one is 50, and then energy shield's like, no, that one's 35. So I don't know. It'd be really cool to see it at 50.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same defensive strength as armor and evasion do, but
maybe, I mean, it's a reoccurring, like, it's just extra health pool.
Well, but sometimes it's not extra though. Sometimes it is the health pool. So, like, I guess maybe if you were using it, I hate the idea that that energy shield is like armor or evasion. I like the idea that energy shield is like life. It's not a defensive.
Okay.
It's not a defensive mechanism to save your health pool. It is. I like it when it is your health pool. That's sort of the way that I've built around. But I know that that's not, unless you're going CI or low life or something. It is kind of right now. It's just it's an extra defense layer for your health pool. And I don't know. Maybe I've just wrapped my head around the idea of so much playing the CI way of playing back in the day, which I loved. I absolutely loved it. That it's hard for me to think of energy shield like a defensive layer.
What if they came out with a health aura?
Like, you mean like vitality?
No, that one's about regen. Something like that just adds life.
Life's not hard to get though.
Just thinking.
Just add more auras.
I don't know. 217 seems so low, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I was thinking tons about that little flippy floppy, and I think we've talked about that, but it might have been 100 episodes ago. So I brought it over, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. And thank you.
We're gonna wrap this. We've got the release information coming on this week, so that'll be Thursday this week. The announcement.
That's right. Next week it all begins.
Yeah,
321 is on its way.
Yeah, we're gonna BK is gonna join us next week, so we'll be chatting with her after the reveal, which is gonna be a lot of fun. There's gonna be lots to chat about, and hopefully everybody enjoys the little Twitch stream episode reveal that GGG does.
Live stream.
Whoa, that sounded way cooler.
Confidence. That's what confidence sounds like.
Stream. All right. Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out with us for 181 Forever Exiled. I am Justin, AK Tags.
Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons, we will catch you in After Dark. Everybody else, will see you next week in 182. If you're looking for more information, you can find down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord you should be a part of. And Patreon and other ways to support the podcast, you'll find them down below and on our website. See ya.
Bye.